So in our code for the for this extrusion project, when we began working on it, we looked at the we clicked the little button, pass-through button, and looked at the code for it, and we found that this script type import map was incomplete. These URLs are what we call relative URLs as opposed to absolute URLs. And what that means is these URLs are assuming that the code we're looking for is on the same server as this page itself. And it's not when we take it, right? When we steal the code, it's not on the same page, on the same server. So it can't find these URLs. And in fact, here is a bit of code that explains it. // means go up one level. So this HTML page, index.html, maybe is what it's called, is in a folder structure, a folder tree. And we go up to the larger folder that holds the HTML index page. We go up one and find build, which looks like a folder because there's a slash after it. And then in that folder we find 3.module.js. So we need a complete URL to this information, to this code. And this little // I wasn't really sure. I don't remember ever having noticed a // before, not two dots but one. So I went and asked the 3JS mentor, which I was just talking about here. Now, this isn't a 3JS question, it's an HTML question, but it was open in my tab, so I'm about to try it. My question is, I understand that the notation // means one step up on the folder tree in HTML, but what does // mean? Can you parse things set off by backticks? Now the backticks, I had backticks around those things. You know what backticks are? I'll show you this here, down here in the Ask Anything. That's a backtick, and so I might say new THREE dot, what was that code we were talking about? LOD. Was it all caps, LOD?
No.
Okay. So 3 LOD, whatever it is. I put backticks around it. Have you guys ever seen these backticks? Yeah, what does that do? It says this is code. It brackets off the code. It keeps the code from running. It says I don't want you to run this. This isn't code. I want you to run. Yeah. So it makes it like a comment, or it makes it. So the backtick, if you're interested, is directly to the left of the number one. The long list of numbers at the top of your keyboard. It's the same key as the tilde key, which makes N into N sound, mañana. But you have to hit shift to get the tilde. So I asked 2 if it could read this stuff, because sometimes, like for instance, angle brackets. I put that, can you read this in angle brackets? Yes. So I'm just checking, because some systems want to be protected from code. They don't want to run malicious code by accident. So in an email, I often set off any code lines with backticks so that it's not going to be parsed as code. Anyway, I asked about these // and it says, here's, it gives me examples, but it says exactly what I just said. Going up and then down a folder. So we go up the folder tree, and then we go back down into another folder. But the // refers to the current directory. And normally we just don't put anything there. And that's why I wasn't certain what I was looking at. It mentions here that sometimes it's required for some purposes, but mostly it's just to show that to specifically show that we don't have to go anywhere else. It's in the same directory. So on the server, the code we're looking for is in the same directory wherever this HTML was. So that's how I found out how to get these codes. When we first started on 3JS, I just gave you the codes. I mentioned it was like I had a little trouble remembering how I got these codes because I was thrown off by this button. This button is not how I got the original code, and it doesn't lead me to the place I can find JSM. There was no apparent way to find the JSM. So let me show you, the reason I'm showing you how to do this is because your project maybe your project later, but whatever you're working on right now, your assignment, and the assignment can grow into a project, it should, right? That's the best way. But your assignment right now, you may have picked something that needs more than just these two items in its import map. And you're like, why is it broken? I can't find the third URL. This is how I did it. I knew that the 3JS stuff here, these examples, I knew that this was all being run from GitHub. And here's Mr. Dupe. So I should talk through this actually. So here's the 3JS examples. Here's the examples. But if I go up one step in the tree, here's the GitHub. So this is GitHub 3JS. And I don't know if you remember, but here it says, I guess I'm in the wrong place to see both. It's worth going back and forth, so give me a sec here. I'm just going to go back to the examples. Extrude. Here's my extrude. Here's the code for that. You see that build 3.module.js? Build is the name of a folder. Do you see that? In other words, we're looking for this file, 3.module.js. And to find it, we have to go up one folder, up out of the folder we're in, wherever we're in, it's in a folder, it may be top level, but we have to find build and go into build and look for 3.module.js. So here in the GitHub, you see build? So here are examples. These are all the exact same examples. In fact, we could search for extrude. Geometry extrude shapes. This is the same example we were just looking at. So if that's the case, then this must be build. This is I went into the examples. I want to go up one, and then here's build. So here's examples. So what it's telling me is come out of examples and look for a folder called build. So that's what I did. This is how I found it. And we'll see that the URLs I'm using are not the same as you get, for instance, when you click the little code button on the example page and go to the raw. They're different URLs. But anyway, so I went and found the build. Clicked that. And then looked for the build I'm looking for. What was the build? The example code was here. Build, and inside build, I look for 3.module.js, yeah? 3.module.min.js. I could have used this, same code. It's been minified, meaning all the spaces have been taken out of it. Same exact code. But I use this instead just to be, right, on the safe side. I click raw. That's my URL. Then to find the other one that we're looking for, the example was here. This says JSM, but it's not a one folder up. It's in the same directory. So if I find the directory for this code, which is again, I'm going to go to the way I found it. Here's 3JS. I'm going to go to find the examples. Extrude. Raw. Geometry extrude shapes.html. JSM. Not found. Give me a sec. Don't need this anymore. Yeah, here's the examples. I just added, I used the same code as the examples. Oh, I see, right. It's in the examples, not the, okay, yeah. Here it is. I don't know if this will work though. It's different than the one I've got, I think. Examples. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not sure if that would work, but I know what will. Yeah. Here's the build. Here's the /build /3js module.js. I knew that this was in examples, so I just added, instead of examples, instead of build, I went into examples /JSM. So I think it would work. Examples.jsm, yeah. Examples /JSM. Nope, somehow I'm overwriting. Yeah, that's how I found it. So you may have to find your own. Look at the structural tree here on 3JS. On GitHub, Mr. Doob /3JS, and look at the tree structure here. So if I'm in examples and I have to go up one and find build, then I need to find it here. And if I'm in examples, then I can just use the, I can really actually just hit /JSM, because I know that's where it's got to be. Is that workable? How many of you have already run into this? Nobody yet? Yeah. I have seen that some of the, I guess I'm almost done with the recording. I have seen that some of the examples at 3js.org require more stuff. I think maybe this one does. No, same two. That's good. somebody was looking at one of these models that have the models animated. They were dancing and whatnot, but I don't know which one it might be. Most of them do require only those two, but I've seen a couple that require more. Let's look at terrain here. Nope, the same. So maybe nobody needs any of this, but I thought I would walk through how I found the URLs for the direct URLs, the absolute URLs instead of the relative URLs. And just a little bit about how the logic works, that either if I'm looking up one folder, then I can literally go to the folder structure on GitHub and look up one folder and find the build folder, for instance. And in the build folder, find exactly the file I'm looking for and use the raw of those. So that's